All stays.
It happened late at night, the kind of quiet hour where the truth feels heavier because there's nothing left to hide behind. We were standing in the living room we once chose together, surrounded by furniture meant to represent stability. When my wife said the sentence that ended our marriage without using the word divorce, she didn't shout. She didn't cry. She simply told me she was done sharing a bed with me and that I needed to accept it. I expected pain, anger, or panic to hit me all at once. Instead, something inside me went cold and calm, not numb clear. It felt like the final piece of a puzzle snapping into place. I realized I hadn't been fighting for the marriage anymore. I'd been fighting the fear of admitting it was already over. From the outside, our life looked solid. 2 good careers, a clean home in a quiet neighborhood, bills paid on time. Friends saw us as dependable and settled. But success has a way of hiding rot. Somewhere along the way, partnership turned into coexistence. Conversations became updates. Touch became rare. Silence became normal. Her job started consuming more hours. Late nights became routine. Trips appeared on the calendar with little explanation. She changed, not suddenly but deliberately. New clothes, new confidence, new distance. I told myself it was stress, ambition, growth. The truth was simpler. Her attention had moved on before her body ever did. That night, when she drew the line so casually, I didn't argue. I didn't ask for counseling. I just nodded, went upstairs, and packed a bag. I left behind the photos, the shared memories, and the version of myself that kept hoping effort alone could revive something that no longer wanted to live. I stayed with a friend who understood silence better than sympathy. While the city slept, I opened my laptop and took inventory of my life like a man preparing for war, not against her, but against being blindsided. Again, accounts, assets, documents. I separated what was mine from what we shared. It wasn't revenge. It was survival. The next morning, I hired a lawyer known for ending things cleanly. He didn't ask how I felt. He asked what I knew. When he asked about infidelity, I didn't have proof-only patterns. He told me not to confront her, not to tip my hand, and to let the truth expose itself. Lies grow careless when they believe they're safe. 2 days later, I returned to the house while she was at work. It didn't feel like home anymore. It felt like evidence. In the office, I found her old laptop, forgotten and unlocked. What I discovered there confirmed everything my instincts had been warning me about for months. Messages, plans, reservations, a relationship built on secrecy and mockery. I wasn't just absent from her life, I was being used to fund the illusion of it. I documented everything calmly, methodically. When you stop loving someone, clarity replaces emotion. When she finally reached out, it wasn't with regret. It was with confidence. She suggested we meet and talk like adults. Over coffee, she proposed an arrangement that benefited her entirely. Keep the marriage on paper. Enjoy freedom in private, preserve comfort and appearances. She framed it as maturity, growth. I listened. I nodded. I let her believe she was winning. A week later, she was served divorce papers at work backed by evidence. The reality hit her publicly where she felt most powerful. She called me nonstop. I didn't answer. When she showed up at my friend's house, the composure was gone. Anger came first, then tears, then bargaining. I showed her nothing but silence and the proof she'd written herself. I told her I had dealt with it exactly as she'd asked. Through the law, through truth. The divorce moved fast. The evidence spoke louder than excuses. The agreement she once ignored became the foundation of the ruling. She lost more than assets. She lost control of the story. I didn't feel victorious when it ended. I felt empty, but free. I sold the house, left the neighborhood, and started over somewhere quieter, closer to mountains and further from ghosts. Life shrank in size, but expanded in honesty. Months later, she asked to meet again. This time she looked smaller. Regret had replaced confidence. She wanted closure, forgiveness, maybe a second chance. I gave her clarity instead. I told her the truth without cruelty. What she'd done wasn't a mistake, it was a decision, and decisions come with consequences. I walked away without hatred, without longing, without looking back. A year later, standing alone on a trail overlooking the city, I realized something important. Losing a marriage doesn't always mean losing love. Sometimes it means losing an illusion that kept you trapped. I hadn't been abandoned, I'd been released. The life ahead of me wasn't perfect, but it was honest. And for the first time in years, that was enough. If you're going through something similar, remember that finding the truth, no matter how painful, is the first step toward finding yourself again. Thanks for listening.